Landra's going to talk a bit about orientation and mobility, and then I'll come back and I'll tell you what we're going to do, okay?
Hi everyone. Hi. It's nice to see you all here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my job as an orientation mobility specialist. I'm not going to talk about guide dogs, but if anybody has any questions about it, you can come talk to me later. This is Mason, who was a guide dog in training, and he didn't make the program, so now he's just my permanent, awesome pet dog. So in orientation and mobility, there's two major parts to that. The first one is orientation. That's the thinking, processing part of where am I going, how do I get there, and what's the route I'm going to take to get there. So for those of you who walk to school, you probably already have an idea in your head of what that route looks like. You can imagine it, you know where your house is, you know where your school is, what direction it's in, and how to travel there. For someone who's blind, they have to be taught that skill. They have to be taught where things in space actually are so they can picture it in their head or make a tactile map of it so they can plan that route. The next really big component is mobility. That's the actual physical walking part. That's the part where they might use a different mobility device, like someone holding on to someone and going sighted guide, which you're going to see your teachers do later. That's also the part where you might see someone with a white cane or someone with a guide dog. No matter which way they're traveling, they had someone to teach them those skills. They can't just suddenly lose their vision and know how to get around. And so much of our learning is done through vision that when you can't see what's around you, you need someone to describe that. So for someone coming to a space like this who's totally blind, you can imagine how confusing this would be. There's loud music playing, there's people everywhere, there are ramps and stairs. So if they have someone with them to describe this environment, it makes it that much easier. So if they were to come back here again, they would have a better idea of how they're going to get around. So for example, with what your teachers are doing today, this isn't something that we would do right away with someone going under blindfold, but we're going to give them a lot of information about it. We're going to let them hold on to someone and go sighted guide, and also use a white cane. Then we're going to describe the environment. So if I was working with someone here, I wouldn't just say I'm on a stage. I'm going to say I'm on an elevated stage. It's about 4 feet up. There are people in the stands that are made of cement, and they go up on risers, and there are stairs between the rows. Okay, so you're going to give a lot of detailed verbal instructions. So I'm going to describe what your teachers are going to do. When we're all finished here, we're going to walk up to the top of the stairs, and there's a grassy patch, which is a square. When we describe that in O&M terms, we call that a block walk, whether it's the area that you're going to walk around of just a grassy patch, or whether it's a neighborhood and you're going to walk around the entire block. So rather than just saying you're going to go around the corners and keep turning right, we're going to describe it a little bit better than that. We're going to say you're going to start on the west side of the square, and you're going to start out going in a clockwise direction, and you're going to travel north. When you get to your first corner, you're going to turn right. And we will proceed with describing the route in those kinds of detailed ways. You wouldn't just say, you're going to keep turning until I say stop. It's really important with orientation mobility that the person is engaged in their environment. If you're just holding on to them and taking them through space and not giving them any information, that movement is not meaningful to them. And that's what O&M is really all about. It's about teaching a person to be able to travel safely, efficiently, and as independently as possible. That could mean holding on to someone for the rest of their lives, whether they're going out with their parents or with a teacher or an EA. But it can also mean someone who's going to be an advanced traveler and using a guide dog and traveling all around Canada, giving speeches about guide dogs and how they travel and things like that. So if you ever see someone standing on a corner, waiting at the traffic light, that person has had training in how to assess that intersection. How does this intersection work? Where is my parallel and perpendicular traffic? When is my parallel traffic surge going to start? They know when that surge starts, that's when they get to cross. So in that way, they learn all the information they need to travel independently, just as you would travel as a sighted person. So we're going to go up to the square, and this is what your teachers are going to do. They're going to have a cane in one hand, and they're going to be holding on to someone in the other hand. With their canes, they're going to be using a technique called constant contact. It means your tip is on the ground, you're going to hold the cane in front of your body. Do you have a cane that I can demonstrate with? I'm just going to show you two different techniques that you're going to use for doing this, because although you're going to have a sighted guide, we want you to really utilize the cane and see what that would be like to travel using a cane. So, with this cane, you try and hold it right in front of your body, because if it's at midline in the center of your body, you're going to have better coverage on both sides of you, because that's what a cane's purpose is. It's to protect the person from encountering obstacles. Once they find the obstacle with the cane, then they can move around it. Because the cane is about 2 feet ahead of you, if it contacts something, the person has enough reaction time to then move around it. So teachers, you're going to move the cane from side to side. You can either lift it up and down, that's called 2-point touch. That way it doesn't get caught. If you have a tip like this is called a pencil tip. If you have a pencil tip, I really recommend that you lift your tip up, otherwise you're going to get it caught on stuff and then you're going to stab yourself in the stomach. If you have a big fat round end, then you're going to roll it side to side. But the really important things here are that you're covering both sides of your body. Don't worry about your sighted guide. So as you're walking, you're going to move your cane side to side while you're walking. Keep it moving the whole time. You want it moving fairly quickly so that you're not going to be moving over here to the right when you possibly have an obstacle on your left. So that's why it's constantly in motion. When you've gone along a straight stretch, then your sighted guide is going to notify you that you're coming up to a corner. When you're coming up to the corner, I want you to change your technique and start following the inner shoreline with your cane. So this time, you're going to sweep towards the grass. By doing this, you're going to be able to get around your corners a lot more easily. If you don't do this, you're probably going to miss your sidewalk and you're going to keep going on a pathway going straight. And we don't want that. We want you to be as quick as possible because there's a pizza party involved. So you're going to be walking along, either doing constant contact or lifting it up, 2-point touch. When your guide tells you you're nearing your corners, you're going to shoreline. And you're going to do this until you feel like you've done a full 90-degree turn. When you've done your turn, you can go back to your 2-point touch or your constant contact. Your start and your finish line are going to be the same place, so you should have a good sense in your mind of how many sides you've gone around so that you complete a full square. Does that make sense to all the teachers? And just in case you haven't, are there any teachers who haven't signed a waiver yet? We're going to keep it clean, but just in case. Okay, that's great. Thanks. We're going to head up